I want to bring in Kris Brown, president of Brady, the country's oldest organization dedicated to gun violence prevention. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. First, I'd like to pose the same question to you, just getting your reaction to seeing this latest act of gun violence in our country.
Well, it never gets easier. I mean, it's horrific to think about families spending time together at a bowling alley, enjoying time together at a restaurant, living life, and then suddenly having everything change. You know, I'm thinking about the father and son, Bill and Aaron Young. Aaron was only 14 years old, enjoying an evening or afternoon at the bowling alley, and now they're no longer with us. And it fills me with despair. Our families, America's children, don't have to live this way and certainly don't have to die this way.
Your organization advocates for the banning of assault weapons, and it does appear that this shooter was using one last night. I want to play for you a moment from a press conference from earlier today with Democratic Congressman Jared Golden of Maine, seeming to change his position. Let's take a listen.
I have opposed efforts to ban deadly weapons of war like the assault rifle used to carry out this crime. The time has now come for me to take responsibility for this failure, which is why I now call on the United States Congress to ban assault rifles like the one used by the sick perpetrator of this mass killing.
He is a Marine Corps veteran and one of the most conservative Democrats in the House. How significant is that change?
I hope it's very significant. I was watching that press conference in real time. You expect too often in today's world that individuals who are in those situations, who have not supported any reasonable gun control measures, which is unfortunately the history of Representative Golden, that they can sometimes double down on that. We saw that far too often with politicians representing constituents in Parkland, etc. And I was music to my ears, and Brady is ready, willing, and able to do whatever we can to support Representative Golden and a huge number of additional members in Congress who want to enact an assault weapons ban, which is a universally supported policy initiative. Even a majority of gun owners want this to happen. I just hope that Representative Golden can also understand that there are a number of additional laws that also need to be put into effect at the federal level, expanding the Brady background check system being among them, so that Mainers can truly be protected and that all of our citizens across this country can actually feel safer. That's what he said. The illusion of safety was something I felt, and now I realize that I need to do something to enhance our policy to protect our citizens. That's how every elected official should feel. We know no one is immune to this. All of us as Americans deserve to live, exist in safe communities, and that means communities free from gun violence.
No one is immune, as you say, and people here were just carrying out their ordinary activities on a Wednesday night, an otherwise ordinary Wednesday. As you know, there has been no success on legislation to ban these types of weapons, no matter how many times we see a repeat of these kinds of massacres taking place in our country. Do you think that there's anything that might ultimately change that?
Well, look, there has been some success. We did get the assault weapons ban the very year after the Brady law was enacted. Of course, that was in 1994. It was a 10-year sunset. We look back and we know that that law worked, that mass shootings materially decreased during that time. Yes, there has not been the movement at the federal level that we need. We need uniform laws. But a number of states, now 8 states in the District of Columbia, have acted on their own to ban assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines in many states. And those states that have done that have seen decreased gun violence in their state. We need a uniform standard, though, especially when it comes to assault weapons. And I think, frankly, Representative Golden, who has not been historically a champion, raising his voice, committing to really take to the House floor and talk about why this is necessary as someone who himself is a veteran. We need more gun owners to lift up their voices and demand that this happen. And we're seeing that more and more and more. But all of us as Americans, especially those who own firearms, who have enough, please raise your voice. Join Brady in calling for a renewal of the assault weapons ban. We need you.
We've seen a lot of discussion today about the shooter's mental health history, but I want to share a post from you on X, formerly Twitter, today saying this. The idea that mental health is at the root of gun violence is an ableist lie designed to deflect responsibility from the gun industry. Call it out wherever you see it. Explain your position there.
Look, I mean, it's sort of like when you look at folks talking about Maine's yellow flag law. That's not a law that really has done anything to remove guns from individuals who are exhibiting behaviors that indicate that they are at risk. Many of those individuals may or may not have a diagnosable mental illness. The United States doesn't have any more mental illness than any other country in the world. We have a lot more gun violence. Why is that? Because we have 450 million firearms, and we're not doing enough to ensure that the systems we have to protect ourselves and to take guns away from individuals exhibiting behaviors that they are at risk actually work. That's where we need to focus our attention. The fact of the matter is, if you have a diagnosed mental illness in this country, the risk to you that you will be the victim of gun violence is significantly higher than you will perpetrate gun violence. That's what that tweet was about. That's what that X tweet was about. And we really want to take away the bogeyman that this is about mentally ill people having easy access to guns. It's about people who are at risk having too easy access to guns. And let's focus on those kinds of behaviors and enact actual strong red flag laws, which Maine does not have. If it did, things might be different, so that when we see these behaviors and we understand that there's a potential risk, we can take action effectively to address that risk and remove firearms when necessary from individuals who pose a risk.
And we should note this is still an active manhunt. We have shown images of the suspected shooter as law enforcement agencies are working around the clock trying to track him down. You're a supporter of the notion of no notoriety for mass shooters to avoid giving them any additional fame or attention. Why do you think that's so critical?
Well, actually, that campaign was started by parents who lost children in a mass shooting. Copycat issues are very real. Look, I mean, you've had a lot of experts talking about the psychology behind this and the likelihood given that a shooter might have his or her name, usually his name, repeated in the media, that others will be, quote unquote, inspired to take similar action. You take that risk away, you de-risk it significantly when you give no notoriety to this individual. It's actually studied. Sociologists have looked at it. It's very, very important not to spur copycats and not to give these individuals any sense of glory over what happens with this carnage. So it's quite important, the No Notoriety campaign, and Brady has long supported it.
We thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming on.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.